this is our first live stream and we are here to discuss the top 10 most asked SQL interview questions. Most of these questions may also be the part of your Viva examination or lab examinations. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Before going into the questions, I just wanted to give a small note here. Based on the true events, I'm just revealing it to you. Maybe it might help few others as well. So even if you are an experienced person and you are trying to shift your job for the first time, if it's your first job switch, then you have to focus on your basic questions as well, because the recruiters might even come from the basics. So don't ignore the basics at any step. Hope it helps. So let's get started with our questions. First question: what is the difference between where class and the having class? Where class is used to filter the rows before any grouping or aggregation happens. This is the first employees table. So here we are selecting the all records from the employee table. Means we'll get all the columns like employee ID, name, department ID, salary, manager ID along with the all records in it. Means all the rows. Here we have 6 rows. So first, to do the column level reduction, we can simply select only the required columns we want, like select employee name, employee ID, salary from the employees table. So if you see here the column level reduction only happens. Means these 6 records, we got all the 6 records but only 3 columns. Whatever we specified in the select query, only we got these columns. So when we specify the where condition, here I am using the where condition with salary greater than or equal to 60,000. So the salary having 60,000 or above, the rows which satisfied these conditions is going to be populated. So let's run and check. Yes. So if you see here, we have row level reduction. I mean, we have filtered the rows based on the condition by using the where class. So where class is used to filter the rows before any grouping or aggregation happens. Actually, we have a general order where we follow select, from, where, group by, having, then order by. Okay. Here the where class is not dependent on the group by. It can be used normally. It is just for condition checking and it's mainly used to filter the rows in our table. Next, let's see the group by. Group by is mainly used to divide the data and group them to the same values based on the given condition. So if you see here, we are selecting the department ID and the count of employees. Why? Because we wanted to check the count of employees in each department. So here I am just selecting the department ID and the count of employees and grouping that with the department ID. Let's execute and see this. Yes. With department ID 101, we have 1 employee. 102 department contains 4 employees. So based on the department ID column, it has grouped the employees. So we mainly use the group by to group the data based on the given condition which are having the same values, it will group. Okay. And next one is the having class. So the having class is mainly used after the group by class. Once the rows are filtered in group by, it will work on the filtered rows, grouped rows. If you see, this is the previous one only. We just grouped the employees in each department, just count of employees in each department. Now here we are using the having class with the aggregated functions. We can't use the where class with aggregations. Why? Because where class is processed before any data aggregation or grouping happens. So we use the having class to calculate the aggregations. So if we see, I am just checking where the employee ID count is greater than 1. So if we run till here, we'll get the same output. Now I am checking employees greater than 1, employee count of employees in each department. Like in this one, in group data, I am checking the employee count greater than 1. So if I execute this one, we got only 102. If I gave this condition as equal to, so here we are checking the count of employees equal to 1 in each department. So now we'll get only 101 department. So I hope it's clear the difference between the where class and the having class. functions like count, minimum, maximum, sum, average, these aggregate functions for use having to calculate these aggregate functions. It is most of the times it's always dependent on the group by class. It is not independent having class. Okay, this is the main difference between the where class and the having class. So now let's move into our second question. That is, what are constraints in SQL? In SQL, constraints are nothing but the rules. We have 6 main constraints. First one, not null. Next, unique, primary key, foreign key, check and default. These are the constraints in SQL. Now let's see with this simple example. Not null. These constraints ensure that the column value cannot have a null. The ID column is assigned with the not null constraint. Means the ID column values should always contain a valid data. It should not be null. So if we see the data here, we just created the table, we have not inserted any data, so the structure is this way. Now let's insert. Here the error code is 1048. Column ID cannot be null because the ID column is assigned with the not null constraint, and here we are passing the null values, so the rule is violated here, so it just failed. So if we just give 1 here, let me give 0, and I'm trying to insert the data. Now it got succeeded. Let's see in the table. 0 Ram, 2 Ravan, 3 Lakshman. So the ID column, if it's assigned not null, then it has to have one valid value apart from null. So that's how the not null is worked. And next one is unique. This unique constraints ensures that the values in that particular column should be unique. It does not allow the duplicates, and each value should be different. So I'm going to create the table with ID, data type is integer, and for ID column I'm assigning the unique constraint. So each ID should be different. Okay, no duplicates are allowed. Now let's see this one. I'm creating the table. Yes, table has been created. Let me show you the structure of the table. This is similar to the previous table, just ID and username. And next I'm trying to insert the values to the unique sample table with the duplicate IDs. If you see, I am using the same ID for the 2 records, 1 and 1. So actually this ID should be unique. But what if we insert the duplicate values? It will raise an error. 1062 duplicate entry 1 for the key unique sample ID. So it is clearly mentioning that duplicate entry. So let's change this one 10. Now let's try to insert and see. Yes, data has been successfully inserted. Now let's see in the table. Here I am just using the constraints with the simple create and insert statements. If we want, we can add the constraints after creation of the table as well, and we can alter the data like by adding the constraint as well. I am just showing the simple way here. And the third constraint is primary key. As of now we have seen the not null constraint and unique constraint. Primary key is the combination of the not null and unique. If we assign the primary key explicitly to the one column, then that has to follow the rules for the not null and the unique. Not null means if one column is assigned to the not null constraint, then the values should be valid. It should not be null. And unique means it does not allow the duplicate values. So primary key will follow the both rules, and only one primary key should be allowed each table. So these are the rules for the primary key. So if we see, we can simply add the constraint here, ID integer primary key, or otherwise we can first declare the column with data type and then we can add the primary key of ID. So this is the another way. If you see, for unique and not null, after the declaration we have mentioned the constraint, but this is one way and this is the other way. Once declaration is done, we can assign the primary key to the ID. So this is also valid. So let us run and see this one. So first I am creating the table. Table is created. This is the table structure, and now I am trying to insert the data. Let's see here, 1062 duplicate entry 1 for the primary key. Okay, now I just remove the 1 and I'll give the null. So according to our definition, it should not allow the null values as well. Now let's run and see this one. Yes, again it's failed. 1048 column ID cannot be null. So it's following both the rules. Now let's give 10 and I'll just try to insert this. Why we are checking only the ID here? Because we've assigned the primary key to the ID only. Now yes, let's see the data. Duplicates are not allowed, null values are not allowed when it's the primary key. So it's the combination of the not null and unique constraints. So if you wanted to see the let me give describe table name. If you see this one, see here, ID type is integer, no nulls are accepted, and primary key constraint. So if you wanted to see the table details and the constraints not null, default and null, you can use the describe table name command. Okay. And next the fourth one is the foreign key. Foreign key means it's the link between the two tables. The primary key in one table acts as the foreign key in the another table. So let's see this with an example. Create table department which is having the department ID. This is the department table and department ID is the primary key in this table, and we have the department name. Next we have some department values. 101 is computer science, 102 is computer networks, and 103 is computer vision. So these are the records in the department table. And now the employee table is having the employee ID, employee name, and department ID. Department ID is taken from the department table. So the primary key in this department table is acting as the foreign key in the another table. Now let's see how to declare the foreign key. So first we have to define that column like department ID and data type. Next we have to use foreign key. What is the foreign key? Department ID. We are referencing it from the table department 1. So foreign key department ID. I'll just hit into the another line. See here, foreign key department ID references department 1 of department ID. So this way we can create the foreign key. Now let's execute one by one. I am inserting the rows to the department table, and now I am creating the foreign key table. Okay, yes, created. Now this is the department table data. See here we have department ID and corresponding department name. Now let's insert the data to the employee table. Inserted. Now let's see this. In employee table we have employee ID, employee name, and corresponding department ID. Department ID is the foreign key which has been taken from the department 1. So this is the foreign key constraint. And next one is the check constraint. This constraint ensures the value in the column satisfy the specific conditions. If you see, I am creating the table with the following columns: ID, name, and here I am checking whether the ID is greater than 1. Once this condition is satisfied, then only it will insert the data. Okay, now let's create this table. I am creating the table, and now I am trying to insert it. If you see the inserting values, it is 1, 0, and 3. Here we have assigned the check constraint to the ID column, and we are checking the ID column only. So here we have 0. It is less than 1. So let's see whether it will work or not. Yes, it's failed with the error code 3819. Check constraint check sample check underscore 1 is violated. Means this condition is violated. So if I give -1 and here 10. So now let's try to insert this. This should not be allowed. Yes, the same error. The constraint has been violated. So I'll give the same ID because it is just checking the condition here. This is check constraint. If this is unique or primary key, then it won't allow, but it is check, it will allow. So let's run and see this one. So the ID here we have specified or greater than 1. I'm trying to insert the data. Yes, the data has been inserted. Let's see here. 10, 10, 3. Okay, this is all about the check constraint. It will check the condition. Once it is satisfied, then it will allow. Okay, and the last one is the default constraint. It assigns the default value when no value is assigned to the given column. So if you see here, I am creating the elections table with the columns age, name and place. So here I have given the default age as 18. So while you are inserting the data, then you no need to specify the value individually. If you see here in the previous example, we are specifying the ID 10, ID 1, ID 3, ID 4, something like that, right? But here we have already declared in the create statement that the default value is 18 for all the records. And next, the name and place we have to give. And here I am inserting the rows into the elections table with the default, because the age is our first column that we have already assigned the default 18. So if when we give the default, it will take from this one, okay, 18. So default, default, default. How many our rows we are going to insert? We can simply give the default for the age, and the name and place we have to insert manually. So first let's create this table. Yes, table has been created. This is the structure of the table. So if you want to see the describe table, I'll just give it here, describe table name. So let's execute this. If you see here, the default 18 has been assigned to the age column. Okay, and now let's insert the data. Select all from elections. Yes, the age is 18 for all the 3 records. So this is how we use the default constraint. Here I have taken the sample examples to make you clear on the constraints. Anytime these constraints can be added or removed. Now let's move into the next question, that is, what is the difference between the union and union all? Already we have covered this question and it's available in our channel, but no worries, I'll cover it again. Union and union all combines the data from the 2 or more tables, and the union and union all follows the same rules. Whatever the rules applies to the union are also applicable for the union all. If you see here, we are selecting the department ID from employee table and department ID from the department table, and we are doing the union. Union combines the results from the 2 or more select queries, and those select queries should have the same number of columns and the data type should be compatible between the columns. If we see here we are using the department ID from employee table and department ID from the department table, and the data type is compatible. Both are integer values only. So here we are following the rules. Now let us see the difference between the union and union all. Let's see the employee table first. In employees table we have department ID 101, 2 and 1. Okay, and in department table we have department ID 1, 2 and 3 with the corresponding department names. So when we are doing the union between these two, it is given only 101, 2 and 3, means union allows only the distinct or the unique values. It does not support any duplicate values. So if we see the same example with the union all, it will retrieve all the records in the tables. So first is from employee table 101, 102 and 101. Here I have already mentioned the records present in the employee table and the department table. You can just cross check with this one. Union does not allow the duplicates and union all allows the duplicates. That is the main difference between the union and union all. Our next question is, how do you take the backup of the deleted row or deleted transaction? Getting back the deleted data in SQL depends on how it was deleted. The first case, if we deleted the data inside any transaction and we haven't committed it, in that case by using the rollback we can get the data back. So once we delete the data in the transaction, until we commit, the changes were not permanent. So once we committed, then the changes were permanent and we can't use the rollback. And next question is difference between the left outer join and inner join. So here we are taking the two tables, department table and the employee table. This is department table. Now we are joining the department table and employee table based on the department ID column. Usually join means it will combine the two or more tables based on a specific column condition. So here we are joining the employee table and department table with that specific column as the department ID, because it is the common between the employee table and the department table. So we are joining both the tables with this department ID condition. So here we are using the inner join. Inner join means it will return the matching rows from the both the tables. It will only retrieve the matching rows. So now let us see this. We are selecting the employee ID and department name, and we are joining based on the department ID condition. So when I execute this, here we got employee ID 1, and his department is CSC. Employee 2 belongs to ECE and employee 3 belongs to CSC department. So this is having some matching records, so it retrieve. So now coming to the left outer join. The left join and left outer join both are same. It will return all the rows from the left table and their matching rows from the right table. If no match, then it will return the null. The same query, instead of inner join, we use the left outer join. So if you see, you got all the rows from the left table. Here our left table is department name, department table. So we got all the department IDs and the corresponding employee IDs. So triplet department doesn't have any employees. So the right table we got as null value. So for the same thing, I will just use the left join. Okay, as I mentioned, left join and the left outer join both are same. We got the same results. And the next question is find out the second highest salary without using limit or top. Second highest salary. This is already in our channel, but still I am going to explain this. If you wanted to know all the possible ways to find out the second highest salary, I will give it in the I button or in the description box. Please go and check. Otherwise, it's already available in our channel. You can search easily. So now the question is without using the limit or top. So still we can find the second highest salary by using the set queries. So first I will show you the employees table. Yes, this is the employees table. And we are going to find out the second highest salary. If you see the data here, I'll just arrange it in the ascending order. So we have 70,000. 70,000 is the first highest salary and second highest salary is 60,000. So first we are going to find out the maximum salary from the employees table. Maximum salary is 70,000. So here we are using the subqueries, and here again we are finding out the same max of salary, and that should be salary should be less than this 70,000. So obviously it will give the second highest salary. So let's execute this. Here I have just renamed it as the second highest salary. That's all. If you don't want this, you can simply give this way. Select max of salary from employees table, where the salary is less than the max of salary. So let's execute and see this one. 60,000. So this way we can find out second highest salary using the subquery without using limit or top. Now let's move into the other question. How to find out the duplicate records in a table. See, to find out the duplicate values, we'll use group by aggregated function along with the having. Okay, group by having an aggregated function. So this is the normal template we use to find the duplicate value. Select that column name and count of star, count of all from that column name, from the table name, group by that particular column name where the count is greater than 1. If the count is greater than 1, then it's obviously having the duplicates, right? More than 1 belongs to a duplicate. So this way we can use group by having count. That's all. We are selecting the student number and count of star. I just renamed it as the count. Table is student, grouping with the student number having count greater than 1. So here we are checking whether the student number is having duplicates or not. Yes. If we see, the number 9 has the count 3. If you want, I can just show you the table as well. First let's see the table now, then yes, this is the table. And if you see, we have 9 occurred 3 times. So when we check the duplicate records for the student number, the number is 9 and the count is 3. So if you want to find the duplicates for the marks, then you can simply give select marks and count of star, group by whatever we are given in the select statement, that has to be given here, grouping with the same column having count greater than 1. So now let's execute this. Before executing, can you guess? Yes, you're right, it's 93 because it occurred 3 times. Okay, 93 occurred 3 times. So this way we can find out the duplicate values. Now let's move into the another question. What is the difference between the dense rank, rank and row number? The dense rank, row number and rank are belongs to the window functions. These window functions are mainly used to find the running totals or moving averages. The syntax is similar. First let me show you the syntax. Window function over, we can use partition by. The partition by simply works as the group by only. Partition by column name and then order by column name descending. We are renaming it as some window function. So this is the syntax. The same syntax has been followed for the row number, rank and the dense rank. Let's execute and see. Here we are just selecting the salary and row number, rank, dense rank from the employees. So let's see this one. From this output we can simply tell. I'll just explain based on this output now. So here we are assigning the ranks to the salary in the descending order. If you see here, row number, rank and dense rank over order by the salary descending, means the highest salary will come first and the minimum salary will come as the last row. Okay, so if you see the output, 70,000, 70,000, 60, 55 and 40. This is the order, descending order. So first one is the row number. If you see, the row number assigns the numeric values in a unique way. Even if the salary is duplicated, it assigned the unique numbers. Unique numerics has been assigned to the salary values. Next one is rank. The rank window function will give the same rank to the duplicate values. If you see here, we have 70,000 twice. So it assigned the rank 1 to 70,000 and next one is 60,000. Actually this is the second highest salary, but in rank function it assigned as 3. Means the rank will skip the next consecutive rank if there are duplicates. So here 1 occurs twice, so 1 and 2 is skipped and the next rank is 3 has been assigned. So this is how the rank function will work. And last one is the dense rank. The dense rank also assigns the same rank to the duplicate values and it does not skip any rank value. If you see here, 70,000 is rank 1 and 60,000 is rank 2 and 55,000 is rank 3, 40,000 is rank 4. So this dense rank does not skip any rank values and it will assign the same rank to the duplicates. Coming to the rank, it will assign the same rank to the duplicate values and skip the next corresponding rank. And row number will assign the continuous ranks. It doesn't skip, it doesn't give the duplicate value as well. So this is the main difference between the row number, rank and dense rank. Next question is, name the aggregate functions you know. In SQL we have this aggregate function: count, minimum, maximum, sum, average. Here I have taken the student table. First I will show you the student table. This student table contains the student name, student number, marks and age. 1, 5, 9, 13, 16 means 7 students. So here we are counting the count of student numbers. Nothing but ID. Okay. Yes, 7. Next we are finding out the minimum marks from the student table. 75. We are finding the maximum age, that is 13. If we want, we can find out the maximum marks as well. 97. And sum of marks 635. And we are finding the average of marks. The sum of marks is 625 and we have seen the count of students, that is 7. So 635 by 7 divided by 7. We don't do any of these calculations. We can simply use this aggregate function average to calculate all this stuff. Okay, I'm just selecting the average of marks and I'm running it. So here we got 90.7143. This is the average of marks from the student table. These are the aggregate functions. Aggregate functions mainly used to perform the calculations on the set of values and it will retrieve only the one column value, only one value. If you see here, I'll just run these 3. It is only the one value. Only one value. It perform the calculations and it will give us only the one value. If you this sum and average also, we got only 635 and 70. Only one value. Okay. This is how the aggregate functions work. And now let's see the last question. What is a view? View is a virtual table. It is not the physical table and it does not store the data itself. If you see the student table, it is a physical table and it is having the data of its own. View is a virtual table. It is just created on top of the existing table. We can create view on top of the student table and mainly we use the views to abstract the data from the users. We can only specify the particular columns which are supposed or allowed to see by the users. So we can simplify the complex queries by using the views. It hides the complexity and there is only the limited access to the specific data. So now I'll show you how to create a view on this student table. So we have just created the view on top of the student table based on the particular fields. We just hided the age of the students in the view. Only the particular columns are available on the view based on the select or based on the way we have created. So that's all for this video. These are the top 10 SQL interview questions and in the next video we can see the part 2 for this. Thanks for watching.